All right, we're live.
You're live.
All right. So yeah, so what's been up? What's been going on?
Yeah, man, we're just gonna be focusing on just the marriage mastery. I'm not sure if last week we were doing this already, but we're creating this follow-up sales page. They land on, they have to watch the videos, just kind of like increase the lead quality, reducing those shows. Um, One thing that I was thinking about that I wanted to run by you. So I noticed that men who take full responsibility for their actions in the situation with their wife tend to not only be higher level prospects that are more likely to close, but they also are better level clients because they come in and they take responsibility. They want to do the work. And there's a
Right.
psychometric property called internal locus of control. You've probably heard of it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that one dictates like how much control, perceived control you have over your events in your environment, right? And so what I was thinking was like giving them a quiz, it's a 3-minute quiz. I found it, and then like we can use their score as a marketer to know if it's like a really high quality lead. And I'm not saying we completely say no to the guys that take no responsibility, but like I want to test it out and like definitely take the data from it. Like, all right, what did this like do? Fives, 5 out of 5s, did they close more? Do 1 out of 5 not close more? They're like, okay, we should use this as a consistent study. The reason I'm bringing this up though is because my business partner he disagrees. He thinks it's too much work and that we shouldn't add it in there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that's like too much? Because there's 2 videos to watch and then giving them a quiz.
I mean, it's a 3-minute quiz.
It's really a 3-minute quiz, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it and just using it to gather data and seeing, on which of these guys close, because it could also help you to change the messaging, right? Because let's say you have guys that score 1 out of 5 on that, then if you know that going in, then maybe your messaging needs to change a little bit to meet them where they're at and become a much more empathetic type of this happened to you, like, I'm sorry this happened to you, it's not your fault type of thing, but then leading them into self-efficacy, you know what I mean? Like it might just change the way that you close things to get a higher close rate. I don't know. It's you've
Maybe it will
implemented the
help you tell them that it is your freaking fault and let's take ownership and let's fix it. Actually, that marking works too. Like for all that we tell in marketing, that don't let people take their own, or don't let people feel that it's not your fault. Making people feel it's their fault is actually really good marketing too, because there are certain people who respond to it, certain people who actually love that stuff.
Yeah, and just from creating the positive flywheel results, like I just the first couple of clients we took pretty much every client that we can get in the beginning, right? And the guys that said their wife's a narcissist or bipolar, it's like how much you have control over that. And not only that, but your behaviors cause her to be selfish. Because so
yeah.
I'm just trying to come from a place of abundance, but that was something small.
Yeah.
The largest thing I wanted to address with you guys is I want just like to kind of run by like the way you guys make decisions and kind of putting myself more to the CEO mindset and identity and how to like analyze like how to determine strategy and execute right on decisions. And so I can use like a microcosm example, and then you guys could tell me like how your brain kind of works around making decisions. And I want to use those frameworks. So like with marketing this marriage mastery product, right? Like there's so many different channels I can go down, right? I can do just YouTube organic. We have the ads. That's the main channels or platforms we're going after. But like, at what point do I try Instagram? At what point do I create a free Facebook group? Like, because obviously the commodity I'm using is time, right? And like, so how do you know what's going to be the best leverage in making these decisions for these like higher level decisions? I'm kind of curious what your guys' thoughts on that are.
Well, I think John and I probably have different thoughts on this, but I would think,
Oh, you two have different thoughts on it. Okay, here, go ahead.
yeah, because I would say more like find the thing that has momentum and go all in on it and not try to do multiple things, not try to do multiple channels, because it's just so hard to break through one channel and then trying to break through another channel, and the third channel is just too much work compared to getting a flywheel going on one channel, whatever that is for you. And if you feel like you're exhausting it way too early because you're out of time because it doesn't have enough reach or whatever that thing is, then it's not the channel. You at least need to find a scalable channel and then go all in on it, rather than keep trying a Facebook group or an Instagram thing or YouTube videos or Facebook ads. Like one thing has to work, and one thing has to work really well, so that then you can worry about the next thing only after a certain level. But most of the times, that one thing itself, we're like, before we exhausted, we're looking for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Yeah,
So
actually,
sorry, John,
no,
like, just
go
as
ahead.
like a small devil's advocate here, like what if like my question here is like, what if you can make it to like an automated system, right? Like for Facebook, let's say, or you can hire someone to do it all for you. Would that be worth kind of putting, like, I'm thinking, I'll speak directly, like with this, like, you know, the free Facebook group kind of idea, and then like doing cold outreach and posts, I can automate all of that, right? You're saying no, don't do it.
So here's the thing, like whatever you can automate or whatever you think you can automate and all of those, you want to get really good, you want to get really world class at one system, one process, one framework, one thing you really tune in and like get great results from, rather than trying to automate this and automate that and having this system working and that system working, because those things don't really get you the highest leverage. The highest leverage is in when you machine the whole process, every step of the way, every little nuance is so tuned that the system fucking works, right? Because yeah, you can automate the group building, you can automate maybe Instagram posts and all of those things, but someone's going to come and beat you at that specific thing, and someone's going to come and beat you at the other thing, compared to you getting really good at one thing and world class at one thing. Like, yeah, you can hire someone to do Facebook ads, but what if you and the Facebook ads person and your whole team was dedicated to making the Facebook ads funnel the best damn funnel that you could make ever? That's going to take a lot of iterations. It's not going to happen on day one. It's not going to happen on day 10, not even on day 365, because you're still going to be improving that funnel. You're still going to be improving the systems and process. There's so many nuances inside of Facebook ads. Anyone who says, well, yeah, our funnel is like just rocking and there's nothing more I need to do, I don't believe them.
Right. Yeah, I've got, I agree, but I also have like a mixed approach to this. I think there's kind of two ways you could look at this, right? One way is exactly what Manny said. Just pick one channel, go all in on that channel. So you become the Michael Phelps of that channel, right? You know what I mean? Like it's a guaranteed way of success, right? But it's tedious, it's painful. You cannot entertain all of your hyperactive, ADD, I want to do all this stuff type of thing. So I think that is a solid approach. Another approach is kind of the one that was outlined in Traction, not the book by Gina Wickman.
Weinberg.
The Weinberg one, the guy that started DuckDuckGo. And in that book, he talks about like 19 different channels, I think, of customer acquisition. And he basically says, okay, you try a bunch of these different things and you pick the winner, right? And then you double down on the winner, right? So it kind of depends on where you're at, where your budget is, and how easily you can do it. So what I'm trying to do is kind of a hybrid approach, right? So I have a bunch of different things. And then I think there's one other compounding factor, which is if you're trying to do organic stuff and then, the time to germinate on some of these things, right? So for example, if you're planning on doing an organic Instagram, you kind of have to, if you're like, well, I'm going to do that at some point in the future, you kind of have to do it now. It would be better to just start it now. And then even though your focus is somewhere else, so that you can build up the traction over time, because it's going to be a long lead time. But yeah, I mean, ultimately you do end up having to find something to double down on and like Manny said, machine it and get it perfectly going. Just to give a comparison, I'll just kind of, what I've got going on right now is I just hired a guy to do, and see and again, the rationale behind what I'm doing is because I'm putting a bunch of different seeds out there and I'm just willing to kill them off, but I'm going to focus on the one channel that I'm working on. But I just hired a guy because he came to me and he's like, I can do Reddit posts for you. Like I've been responding to people on Reddit and they've been, and telling them about Bulldog mindset type of things. And he's like, I've been going through, I'm on Reddit all day. So I was like, all right, sure. I'll pay you for 10 hours a week. Jump on Reddit. I'll give you a link to a $7 trial. And when you talk to people, DM them on Reddit and tell them to jump on the, to do the membership. Right. So it doesn't cost me hardly anything. I'm paying $10 an hour, 10 hours a week. Right. But I can experiment with that. And if that ends up growing and doing well, then I'll turn that into a channel. Otherwise I'll just kill it off. I've got another guy that's doing, what is he doing? I'm trying to think it now. I've got a couple of different guys that are doing different things, like the DM guys and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think that you can do that kind of stuff as long as it's not going to cost you a lot of bandwidth, but ultimately you have to have your one focus that you're going to double down on.
Yeah, there's one thing I wanted to touch on, like you said. So one of the reasons why you decide to spread out a little bit is because if you're eventually, let's say, going to go on Instagram, you want to start building traction that if you put energy into it later, there's already some built up energy and attention. I'm wondering if, like, is it possible though that if you just focus so much on one thing that you build up a lot of capital, right? And then you can just energy and resources and systems that you can just throw all that into the other channel and then it will grow faster.
That's probably true, actually.
Yeah, it's like because like if you let's just say like someone builds up their Instagram to like 3 million followers, and they're like, hey, like this, and they start posting like small clips of this video on their Instagram, like, hey, the full video's on my YouTube channel. They can send like 2 million followers to traffic to the YouTube channel they built up, right? So
that's a good point. Yeah.
Success is stacked, not like all of them moving at the same time.
Yeah.
It's stacking one success on top of another rather than trying to have multiple successes going on at the same time.
And then the last question I have before we kind of move on to someone else is like, how do you guys, like, if you look at all the bottlenecks in your business, whether it's through marketing, sales, operations, or, whatever, or this actual service, how do you determine like which bottlenecks are a priority to focus on between all of them?
What's closest to money?
That's true. Money.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So I was watching a training from Tribe of Buyers yesterday, and they had a guest on. He was talking about the importance of operations, and he started off saying like, I had this house plant, and he's like, I started giving it more sun, more water, all this stuff, and it wasn't growing. He goes, all I did was I changed it to a bigger pot, and it shot up. And he's like, that's kind of like operations. He's like, a lot of times we're subconsciously actually holding ourselves back because like if you had 100 clients come in into your service and program, would you be overwhelmed if they came in today, 100 people? And it's like, that's making sure your operations are legit is like with the onboarding and everything is like, that's getting a bigger pot for your business. And so like, sometimes we don't see like what is actually the biggest bottleneck. Someone might think it's, oh, it's more sales and marketing, but actually it's like their operations.
That's really hard to believe that, or maybe that person has their own perspective. But building out operations or building out fulfillment before you have customers coming in, that's a lot of cost you're incurring on the business, and you're going far from money, and that's like almost like violating, at least to me, the first rule of money, which is, closer you are to money or bottlenecks that you have to remove in money. Because here's the thing. It's so easy if you have customers coming in to go and pay someone to do the fulfillment. It's like 1,000 times easier compared to if you have a lot of customers, like compared to going and figuring out sales and marketing. And like you have all the fulfillment figured out, but now you have to go figure out sales and marketing. That's the hard stuff. Fulfillment is the easy stuff. So for someone.
I was going to say, I think in any business advice, there's two. It always has to be looked at from two angles, right? One is the funded business and the second is the bootstrap. So from the funded business, if you had a business that was traditionally funded or startup, building out your operations first would make a lot of sense to me. From a bootstrap perspective, going after the money first means that you can pay people to build out the operations. You know what I mean? Whereas if you already have the money, you can already pay people to build out the operations, knowing that you're going to make it up later on. So I think that's the primary thing that's the reason why I am lean always towards going after the money, is because I know with money, I can hire people, I can make things happen with the money. You know what I mean? And so if I can get, for example, if I can close 2 more sales at 5K, then technically I could hire someone at 10K per month. And someone at 10K per month could do a shit ton of work. So yeah, so I think that's the one distinction. You just have to know, like, are you talking about a bootstrap business or a funded business?
Or an existing business with plenty of revenue that can think about something like this, which is kind of like a funded business. And also think about the source from which this advice is coming. Usually the people who are talking about this are themselves selling some sort of course or program on improving operations and fulfillment. So they have vested interest in convincing people that operations and fulfillment are so important, which is cool. I get it.
Yeah.
But the fundamental business approach is like get customers.
But I think if you're starting at the very beginning of building a business, I mean, what I tell a lot of my coaching clients is I'm like do it right from like make everything trackable, put analytics in from the very beginning. Like, let's know all of the things, like have a system in place for fulfilling, because from the beginning it's easy. You can take every single step with the process in place and with thinking about scaling capacity. Once you're already in the thick of it, and then you're trying to make a decision of which thing to prioritize, I think it becomes money, because the money opens up the door for the other stuff. Whereas, the other, unless you've got the deep pockets and you're willing to go in the hole, but it's going to cost you money to build out operations for sure, with no return immediately.
Good point. Cool. That's me.
Let's see. I've got a fairly short. I've been haven't been at the office too much because I've had relatives visiting. But I did actually surprisingly get a lot of interesting things happening. I talked about last week. I hired my community manager who's there. He's awesome. He's like he's one of those like golden hires that's like, the A+ player. So he just is fantastic on top of everything, right? Just thinking about things before I have to tell him, and fantastic communication. Just so that's good. I really want to actually even see how this goes and see if he's opened up to moving into a more even a bigger capacity in the business, because I could use him in a lot of different areas. Just when you find someone like that, that's it's super, super valuable. So I also I've been doing a lot of hires. I hired a guy to do the Simple Programmer blog. I think I talked about that, and he's also seems to be a really good hire. He's writing new articles, doing a lot of SEO, gonna really ramp that up. And then I've got I just hired, like I said, the Reddit guy. So there's a guy doing Reddit posts, just part-time, and he's gonna send out he's got a CRM built already where he's tracking all of the leads he's contacting from Reddit, and we're gonna see how those convert. He's starting with the Bulldog Mindset $7 trial, but eventually he'll start selling some of the bigger ticket ones or moving them into that system. So that's really the test, is to see if that will work. And then it's been a launch. I hired a guy. Huh? Okay.
Why doesn't he send them to your call? Because that would be an easier thing for people to sign up for a call compared to pay $7.
Because I want to test and see first if he can sell memberships to them. It's a very easy, $7 trial type of thing.
Is that easy compared to a call on financial freedom? That sounds like that is easier.
Yeah, because it's specific to their problem, because he's dealing with people that are like on self-improvement forums and stuff like that.
Plus, he's not in the financial forum.
Yeah. Plus, once we then they still become a lead, right? So I just still need to implement a system where every single new Bulldog Mindset member is essentially treated as a lead coming into the call program. So because we get their phone number and everything. So, but then I actually was on a coaching call with this guy a couple nights ago, and he was looking for some direction on what he should do, but he does some graphic design and branding stuff. And he came up with this brilliant idea for the soap company, branding it. This guy that he knew, and he was showing me this logo he created, and then he showed me how he was going to make it so that the branding for this soap company, just like a generic soap company, was like alcoholic beverage type of soap themes of of mixed drinks. And I was like, damn, that's fucking genius. Like, just that, he just seemed to have this really, there's something about the guy. So I was like, all right, you know what, I want to put you in charge of branding for Bulldog Mindset. In exchange, we'll do coaching calls. So I'm just basically paying him in coaching calls. And yeah, he was super excited about it. So he's going to be, I needed someone that kind of just oversee the entire branding of all the design elements of everything. And he's the guy that can totally do it. So he's going to be kind of my branding guy. And then I've been doing a ton of launch stuff. It's been crazy with launches. So we launched the book, for Simple Programmer, the Battle Hardened Developer, and it is, I believe it's number 1. Let me see. I'll share my screen here. So, in a bunch of categories. So we've got 13 reviews. Unfortunately, it didn't get quite as many reviews as I was hoping from the review team, but that's fine. It's not that big deal. But it's number 1 bestseller in software development right now. Almost 6,000 in the Kindle store. So number 4 overall in all software development books. So it should, it's been I launched it on Monday, I think is when we did the official launch. So it's still hanging out here. So as long as it continues to hang out here, then it's pretty successful. And then this week I've got, or next week I've got Connor Murphy's launch is going off, so I have to get that finalized.
What do you mean, Connor Murphy?
I'm helping him launch a product, basically like his product on his channel. So
what's his product?
It is a confidence product, like on basically overcoming social anxiety and confidence. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
You should have a course on how to come back from psychosis.
Yeah.
What happened there?
He took a bunch of ayahuasca, and he, like most people, when they have these religious ego death religious experiences, they see that they're God, and they come back to like their ego, and they're like, cool, like I'm God, I'm great, we're all connected, awesome, I'm gonna go back to my normal life. Some people, when they have kind of more fragile self-worth, they're like, I'm God, I need to be this Messiah, this prophet, and he kind of went off that rail. So
yeah, that's basically what happened. So but
I'm glad he's coming back to his ego self and trying to help others, give confidence. That's good.
Yeah. He had no marketing or any kind of sales experience, so I basically set up everything for him. I hired a copywriter, and so so that
how do people like him and Sinbad find you? They just know you, or
how did he find me?
Yeah, Connor Murphy and like people like Sinbad and
well, Connor I had reached out to because I was following him. I know Brandon Carter was a good friend of mine, and so I kind of knew him from there. And then he did this thing when he was first doing the whole enlightenment thing, where he was offering coaching for $1,000 a month. So I signed up for his coaching. I paid him $1,000 a month because I was like, I will definitely pay $1,000 a month to hang out with someone who has 3 million YouTube subscribers. Like no brainer, right? Like I will make more than $1,000 eventually, from that. So I signed up for that. And then, and then he was like, hey, like, you probably don't really need my coaching, right? He's like, you could probably give me coaching. And I was like, yeah, it's like, but it's a smart move to get close to people who are in your industry that, that are more successful than you, right? At least in YouTube. So we started, just having monthly calls, chatting. And then eventually I ended up coaching him and on the business side. And, and he was like, he had all this YouTube subscribers and he wasn't making any money. And it was like, well, shit, like, and he thought there's no way that he could make money from. I was like, no. I was like, he's like, my audience won't buy anything. I was like, it doesn't matter, dude. Like, you have so many subscribers, you're getting 50, 60,000 views per video. Like, you could literally sell a rock and people will buy the damn rock, right? So that's where we came up with the confidence course, and then so it should. I think we'll do over $100,000 in the launch, probably more than that. So
how big is the list now?
The list is only like 10K, I think, but we're going to add probably another couple thousand from survey answers that people gave. So it's probably really like 12 to 13K, but then he's got He's got his whole YouTube channel where he's 50, 60K per video views per video, and Instagram is 500K. And on his reels, he's got one reel that went viral that has like 6 million views on it just recently. So he gets a couple 100,000 views on each reel and maybe 20, 30,000 on each story. So yeah, I think we'll do easily a 6-figure launch.
What's the price point?
500.
And it's a sales page?
It's a VSL. So it's a sideways sales letter to a VSL.
Sideways sales letter to a VSL as in 3-part video series, and then so it's like a PLF.
Yeah, it's basically PLF. Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
What's PLF?
Product launch formula. Jeff Walker. Not that popular anymore.
Yeah.
Most people have just gone to webinar as the go-to these days. But I guess
is it just an online course, or is he also doing group coaching with it?
There is, I think he's just doing the online course. He's going to offer like for the launch, like a one like hangout session type of thing. So we added.
And what's your commission on it?
40%.
Perpetuity.
Yeah. So, which is fair because I did pretty much all the heavy lifting here. So
he just recorded the course.
Yeah. But
Very cool.
But that's why it's worth it. It made it worth it for me.
There's a couple of guys who made a whole business out of this concept.
Yeah.
What's his name? What's the name? Oh, damn! I don't have the name off the top of my head, but they've literally, it's like a $5 million business right now. All they do is they find experts and they create marketing for them, and then they take royalty off of that, and they build all the marketing assets off of those experts. And then
I've seen like a few
50-60% of that.
Yeah, I've seen a few people doing that, but I don't know. I don't really want to do that as a business model. Just I figured I would do this deal.
Well, you have someone else doing that business model on you.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, basically for high ticket stuff, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
so it's like the model works inside the model, on the model, or however you want to talk about it. But yeah,
I mean, it's kind of good. It is a good, like, if you think about it, like if you're just a content creator and you just want to create content, you just like creating content. If you have someone that can do all that stuff, sure, give them 50%, 40%. Yeah, then you can just focus on the thing that you want to do. You don't have to worry about the stress of all that side of things, right? It makes sense. So
yeah, there is merit to that whole business concept. The idea that you just be a content creator and let us do the business side for you.
Right.
Though that leaves you very exposed if you are a content creator, because you really don't have a business per se. But maybe then that is your business. Just be the content creator, and hopefully you'll find someone else. If this doesn't work, to do the same thing for you.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
But you never really learn business if you do it that way.
Well, I've been trying to teach Connor like what we're doing, and so he understands all the steps and everything. And
I'm not talking Connor. I'm saying it like I'm just thinking philosophically in general. Like if you are just like, I'm just going to be a content creator, and hopefully it's like being an author and you find someone to publish your book. That's great, but you're not really an entrepreneur. You're just an author.
Yeah.
Right. You're not really a business owner. You're just an author.
Exactly.
Nobody thinks of an author as a business owner unless they have a real business on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I've got like a promotion I'm doing for one of my coaching clients for this automated trading system that they're selling a high ticket 5K program. I guess I'm doing a promotion for John Anthony's thing again next week. And then,
what is John Anthony's thing?
He's doing the same thing he did last time of like a 3-day boot camp thing that he only charged like $29 for, but now he's doing it for free, like a free challenge.
Basically. And what do you get out of it?
I'm not doing any kind of commission based. They're going to promote my stuff to their list. right? And I'll do an interview on his stream. And last time I think I did it, we closed like 3 or 4 sales from his audience. So from his, because he's
For
got
your Well program.
yeah. So that's well worth it. And then I'm doing this thing I did a couple months ago, this Bright live session where people paid $30 for tickets to this, and then they can. It's almost like it's a platform that a lot of musicians use. That it's almost like meet your, they do concerts or they do like hangouts and stuff like that. So what I did, let me see if I got the link for it. Where did that thing go? Right.
Where are you driving most of your leads for the Well program right now? Mostly through Instagram DMs?
Where are they coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're mostly coming from Instagram DMs right now. Yeah.
Okay. And what are you guys doing, like 15, 20, 25K a week right now?
I think last week was more like 6K, but then the previous weeks it's been averaging like 15 to 20K.
Yeah.
But this thing is, so they pay $30 to get into this thing, and this session I'm doing is on is called The Truth They Hid From You: How to Retire Young. So people pay $30 to get into this, and then I do a webinar basically.
How long, and they are finding the audience for you?
No, I'm sending it to my audience. I mean, some of the people are coming from their audience as well, right? Because it's they have the platform there that people that they advertise.
So what is this platform? It's just a live streaming platform?
Yeah, it's sort of basically just a live streaming platform. Yeah, but you sell tickets, right? That's the kind of the idea behind it. So I sell tickets to that, and then I guess there's only 50 slots available, right, at $30 ticket price.
Did you do it earlier as well?
I did it. Yeah, I did it before. I did it a couple months ago.
And how many people did you sell?
I think I only sold like 15 tickets, but I closed 3 of those people afterwards.
How many people got on a call?
Like 4 or 5.
It's not bad.
Yeah. So
you're just doing it. It's not like they're asking you to do anything. You're just doing it for yourself because it's helping you do a live webinar, paid webinar, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
So why, so I'm asking, I'm just thinking out loud here. Why wouldn't someone just put up a landing page and put a price for a webinar and that's it? Why is this any different or better?
I mean, they're I don't know. I mean, you could just do that, right? Except that they're kind of targeting people that don't know how to do that. And then also, I think what they're offering is that they have a little, app, and their platform has it where you can see the live video of the people that are chatting in there, and you can bring them on stage, and it's got some kind of cool features for making it more interactive.
Okay, this is good. Like it's good to get people to pay for a webinar. That's like way better than free webinars.
Yeah, that's what I figured is, because if people pay, then they're already primed to.
So how many, I'm really curious about this in terms of your numbers. How many emails did you send in before last time to get these registrants?
I think we sent like 2 emails.
So 200 clicks?
Yeah, something around there.
And you got 15 sales. That's not bad.
Yeah. And then, like I said, 3 of them converted. So.
And the price is something you decide. You could charge $30 or $100 or $500. So.
Yeah.
Well, how did you settle on this price, $30?
That was the average that they did on the platform that had the highest attendance. That
has the highest attendance.
Yeah.
Interesting. not the highest buy rate, but the highest attendance of those who buy.
Right. Right.
This is good, man. I'm really interested to see what comes out of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Um,
this is a good model. So
Yeah, could you drive traffic to it? Maybe.
potentially, I mean, you could sell a ticket for $30. Well, here's the other thing too, is right. If you have a webinar and it's free, right, it doesn't have as much value as the truth they hid from you, how to retire young, $30, you know, class basically, or live session. You know what I mean? That
You're basically capitalizing on the foot in the door technique. Like you get a little them to invest a little bit, they're more likely to, since they already paid a little bit, they're gonna pay a lot more.
right. And they paid for this knowledge.
Since
right,
they
that
paid
I'm
for it,
giving
they're
them.
going to show up.
Mhm. Plus, they paid for the knowledge that they're getting in this, right? So then they're more likely to take the next step because
Yeah, and you're only are only looking for people who could spend that much, obviously, anyway. So like people who someone's gonna scoff at $30, it's like you wouldn't want them to come into it anyways.
exactly, yeah. So we'll see. I'll see how this one does. I've got, it's a simple. It basically ends up becoming a webinar. I've got a simple script that I followed. That I went through on the last one, and then I can just keep on.
I guess
doing
like
it.
my thing is like, because there's not like evident competitors to this like that. People who are offering the same thing, right?
This bright session thing.
Well, just like what you're offering, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
Well, there's a bunch of financial gurus.
right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I was just trying to like like see if I did the same thing. Like for me, like the biggest problem would be like, well, I can pay for this webinar, or I can, I can go to this other competitor who has it for free, the same promise. But you're right, it's different. It's different with you. It's different in your market.
Is that true though? Like what you're saying there is interesting. It's all in the positioning of that class though. It's not like
Right.
they're thinking I can get this other free webinar. When people take free webinar, they're expecting to get pitched.
Right.
So they're
Right.
already expecting that they're going to
I
get
think it depends on the
sold.
market. I think a lot of people still don't realize, depending on who you're marketing to, like
Sure,
they're
sure.
gonna,
But free stuff has lower value in their mind,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true.
But if they're going to pay $30, there's a lot more value to them in their
Yeah.
mind. Like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm going to get something valuable from this $30 I spent rather than from this free stuff I got.
we can speculate all we want, but until John gives us numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm just doing it because it worked last time and I made money. So, if it keeps on working, then I can keep on scaling it up too. So
Does it integrate with your autoresponder and all that stuff, or is it like something you have to do on the back end, or how do you guys do
it's
that?
something I have to do on the back end. I just give them a link, or they send it out to the attendees. I think they send an email out with book a 15-minute call with me.
No. So when someone buys,
Uh
what kind of automation do they have to make sure people show up and all that stuff?
I'm not sure. I think they send a few emails out. I'm not entirely sure how they do the automation for it.
So hang on, you don't do anything to get them to show up after they buy?
No.
Well, that's good, because that's half the work, like getting them to show up after they.
Plus,
like,
they get
register for
access to
something.
the replay too. So a lot of people watch that too.
Well, you want them live because that's where the real sale is made most of the times.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So all the people who bought last time, they showed up?
No, I think some people watch the replay. I think most people showed up though.
But you didn't send any email reminders to get them to show up?
Because they send it, because it's their system.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
There should be some sort of, like, even if they're sending it, you should be able to customize and all that stuff. I'm just saying this because I have having done so many live webinars,
Yeah.
I know how problematic it is to get people, like, even if they sign up, to show up. Like,
It's different when they've paid $30 though.
that's what I'm trying to understand. Like,
Yeah.
because they're paid, are they like doing things completely differently? Or it's just because they're paid, they're going to show up no matter what, and not because they have better automations in place to get people to show up, but just because of the act of paying is causing them to show up.
Yeah, it's the act of paying, because it's like, it's ticket sales, right? I mean, it's like, if you bought tickets to a concert, would you not show up at that concert?
Right.
That's kind of what this is like.
Yeah, it's
Like,
almost
I'm
like
sure-
reverse. When the roles have reversed now, instead of you chasing them,
Yeah.
they are like, "Hey, man, when is it? Where? Like, I want to make sure you're gonna show up. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna show up and all that stuff." It's good.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. Yeah, I'm excited to see your results continuously. If this pans off again and again, then something to try.
Yeah. At first, when they approached me to do this, I was like, I don't want to sell tickets for $30 or $100. I was like, I don't even care if I sell 50, like full out. Like, it's just like, it's not worth it, And they're like, no. A lot of people are having success with this. And I was like, can I use this like a webinar? And they're like, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Use it like a webinar. You can sell on the back end of it. I was like, okay, that works then. So,
And the limited spots available, 50 attendees, that's what you said. It could be any number.
I think that's a hard set on their
System.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there isn't really, the testimonials are random testimonials, got nothing to do with you.
Yeah. But you can look at kind of if you look at their site, like their main site, you can see what people are like selling tickets. They have all these different sessions.
Yeah.
Right. And then.
And so you said they approached you?
Yeah. But the idea is like, if they became big too, then, their audience, right, that is used to using their network, would they then go and then, if people are scanning this looking for sessions to go to, do they see my session and then I get people from there that aren't even in my audience?
Well, the brilliant thing about what they're doing is they're getting your list.
Yeah.
Right. They're getting your audience to buy onto their framework,
right,
or to become customers from their, like, they're basically acquiring users for free when you do this.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because now they have their email addresses that they can do all sorts of promotions to. Depending on what you're promoting, they can probably send other promotions.
Just the ones who have purchased, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they are getting the highest quality leads.
Right. Yeah.
From you.
Yeah.
Because now they can use that to grow their platform.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because everyone who is a purchaser is much more likely to purchase another one of those, like maybe entrepreneurial thinking or whatever it is, or another money related stuff or whatever. I'm just looking at the bottom of it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Keys to doubling your profits during a recession, monetizing your side hustle. All of those people are going to be customers for other stuff. Nice, man. I'm excited to see what comes out of this.
We'll see. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much all that's been going on with me. There's some small other stuff, but yeah, I sure think there's other thing I was working on, but I mean, that's the main thing. I'm trying to get the Facebook ads too, right? So I think
how's that going with Nick?
Well, Nick, with Nick is fine. And Nick's a smart guy. He's good, but he's not working out well with the other sales team, right? For those guys, because they're not doing what he wants them to do for cold traffic, because they have what they're doing is working for warm traffic, right? So I was like, finally, I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not even gonna deal with like them, arguing back and forth. You guys keep on doing what you're doing with the warm traffic. That's fine. I'm creating a new sales team for the cold traffic, exactly how Nick wants it. This way Nick can have exactly what he wants. And then I have another team as a backup team as well. And we can see how that goes for the cold traffic. So that's what we're going to be focused on. That's probably going to start to shift to my main focus in the next week or two here, is just getting a cold traffic sales team set up.
You're not sending any traffic to that right now, right?
To the cold traffic, traffic. I sent a couple of traffic, we were running ads for a little bit, but Nick was like, no, this isn't good. Like, they're not handling the leads properly for the cold traffic. So
yeah, cold traffic handling is completely different. But the beauty of cold traffic is if you can crack cold traffic, then you can just put all your traffic through cold traffic funnel. You should never even have to send them to a warm traffic funnel, because cold traffic funnel is going to be way better than a warm traffic funnel anyways.
Right. So this will put some pressure on them as well to keep performing on the warm traffic side, because I have another sales team that's being built. So we'll see. Yeah.
Cool, man.
But yeah, I think that's.
Are you hiring new people right now for sales?
I'm going to be working with a guy that Nick knows that helps build sales teams, and then we'll be hiring from there. So
are you paying for a program to do that?
No. I'm not doing like closers.io. I think Gregory, one of my coaching clients from DAP University, he's doing closers.io. So we'll see how that.
That's what we're using.
You've been using closers?
Yeah, we onboarded 2 new closers. One guy looks pretty good. The other guy, I'm gonna review one of his sales calls today. Marco said that it didn't look good, so I'm gonna check that out. But yeah, that's where we've been coming from.
Do you feel like
But we headhunted our guy. So our guy that I told you about, I might have mentioned him. He worked with Sonny Laranduzzi. Like Marco headhunted him. So that's what Alex Ramosi was talking about too. Like when you want like really high level people, like most often you're gonna have to headhunt them.
Yeah.
Once you get lucky.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or train them up, I guess. But
yeah, more of a gamble that way. But
yeah.
So how's it working for you with closers.io?
So I mean, we've hired these 2 guys only. Like Marco has taken like 16 interviews with them, and so we finally got 2 guys on board now. And like I said, the one guy looks really promising. He closed a couple of guys that were poor leads. Those are just practice calls. We'll be able to close them into the live version of the course, and his calls were pretty good. But this other guy, great experience on paper, came in, he like created a custom video for us for how he's going to help us. I haven't watched the video yet, but Marco is really concerned about based off this one sales call. So I'm going to have to TBD for that one. I'll let you guys know.
How many closers do they give you?
Oh, you just give as many as you want. Like keep on going. Yeah.
Okay. So once you pay for the program, you can have as many.
I don't know the exact details. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that they keep on feeding you applicants until you're full with your closers.
Until you're good. And at a later point, if you need more, do you have to pay something additional?
Like I said, I'm not sure of the exact details, but I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
If you're considering it.
And then the closers, you're just paying closers on commission, so it doesn't really, like, you're just vetting them out, but then it's up to them to.
Yeah, we actually want to keep this, like, we want to consistently always be like looking for a closer all the time, actually.
Yeah. Then you can be running people against each other and cutting out the worst performers all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's the only thing like that sucks about, because I thought about doing another managed team for the, for the sales for the cold, is that, gosh, do I really want to manage a sales team and like deal with constantly, I mean, I guess at some point, if you grow enough, you can just hire a sales manager and then that person handles all of the, hiring some new salespeople, training them, getting rid of the bad people.
Yeah.
Is that where you're going to go direction wise, or who's managing all that?
Yeah. Eventually, Marco and I have kind of split it, but then this Justin guy has been closing for us. He's been actually helping us kind of simultaneously train the new guys and still take some calls. So that's how we're approaching it right now, because he's going to start to pull away in the coming months. We kind of hired him as a consultant in a way, and then he was taking a lot of calls, and he's helped us with the script a lot. And yeah, he's going to help train the new sales guys as they come in to make sure that we're all set up.
Yeah.
But I think long term we are going to look for someone to be that sales manager. But I think that's not for another like 6 to 9 months or more.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it for me pretty much. What do you got, Manny? What's going on?
I've been traveling the last 1 week. It's been kind of up and down. Just got back to the US. But yeah, the automated webinar is working to a point where, of course, there's a lot more modifications to be done at this point, I feel. The beauty of the interesting thing about with the automated webinar is I can see where people are dropping off in a more like mathematical fashion. Like I could see, okay, between this and this time frame is when we're losing so many people. Why is it happening? So one of the interesting things that we noticed, so we're like around 2% conversion right now, which is okay. I would like it to continue to improve on it, where 2% is a start.
2% conversion on the automated webinar to actual sale. Oh, that's not bad. I mean, since it's automated webinar.
Yeah. But there's so much to do. Like, I feel like we're just scratching the surface right now with what we're doing. One of the things that I have to incorporate is like a complete deadline funnel for like closing out the offer, like 3-day carts closing sequence. Because right now it's just like, hey, by the way, you forgot to buy. Here's the link to buy, and just a couple of emails, and that's it. But I need to incorporate a full 3-day closing sequence. By the way, your offer still have it available, but only for the next 72 hours, and then deadline it all the way, like probably 8 to 10 emails to close it out, to squeeze more juice out of it. So that's one thing. The other thing that was interesting that we noticed in the webinar, where the drop-off is, there's a huge drop-off when I actually tell them exactly how focus blocks work. Right?
Okay.
So for as long as I can keep their curiosity, they're there. But as soon as I tell them,
that's normal, right? Because they know you're selling them. So they're like, a lot of people are gonna be like, I don't want to be sold to by.
No, but like so here's the thing. At the point where I tell them exactly how focus blocks work is when they kind of like we lose a large chunk of people. You're right, like we're going to lose people at that point. So then the question becomes, how long can we delay that? Right? So how can we make a sales argument before that even stronger, so then we don't lose them at the point, or we're going to lose people, but how can we make sure that we move a lot of the sales argument and testimonials ahead of that point, so that when we do reveal it, it's like, okay, well, I still want this. And the second thing that we were thinking about is we stopped telling them exactly how it works all the way. Because the problem is, by telling them exactly how it works, they almost like assume that it's not like, their assumption is that this can't be as good as this guy's telling me to be, and then they just sign off, or they're like, oh yeah, I don't believe this kind of deal. So if we don't even tell them exactly how it works, we just give them a higher level view of what this is all about, and keep it there, then maybe this will change our conversions. But this is to be tested. This is just my hypothesis right now.
No, that's good though, because now you can actually test these things, because you can see if that changes the drop-off point.
Yeah, if it changes the drop-off, and more importantly, like if it improves our conversions, like people buying, because now there's enough curiosity that they're not like, one of the things that I would always talk about, that it's a live Zoom room, and I just removed the Zoom room thing completely.
Yeah, there's no need to know the details.
There's no need to know that it's Zoom or anything like that. So we're focusing more on like, we're deprioritizing the idea of focus and distractions, and instead changing from like to accountability, hourly accountability, instead of weekly or daily accountability. Because people think, oh, they're gonna like distractions and focus. Yeah, I can turn it off by myself, blah, 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 blah. So it doesn't really have the same effect on it. But like not talking about focus as much as talking about live hourly accountability. That's the angle in that time when I introduce focus blocks to them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know how it'll perform or what will happen, but that's where we're going with this.
No, I think that's a good test and see what happens. See if that hypothesis is correct.
Yeah. It's all a bunch of hypotheses until the market votes with money.
So you're thinking of delaying the talking about the product at the very as long as you can.
Right before the offer.
Got it.
Right before the stack.
Yeah, because you go through the webinar and then you say this. Okay, I see what you're saying. No, I got
So
it.
keep building the argument. Keep building the argument. Even give them testimonials and keep telling them like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." Blah 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 blah. But don't reveal exactly how it works or exactly what that high performance environment is till like right before the offer itself, right before the stack itself.
Right.
And then
Have you ever looked at any of Jason Fladlin's webinar stuff?
I have studied his book.
Cool.
A lot.
Yeah.
I think it's really his closing techniques are some of the best. Like his closing is what I use a lot.
Cool.
Yeah. What exactly do you like about it?
Oh no, I mean I've gone through it too. Yeah, it's really good. So I'm just making sure that you know of him and have applied some of the stuff because it would be really helpful if you haven't, but you have.
Yeah. No, I love his stuff. I mean, it's like all the stuff is like a combination of Flatlian and Russell Brunson's book, or Russell Brunson's overall book and courses and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
One of the things, well, I think we're out of time here, so
yeah,
we'll continue.
I got a meeting in a minute. So
yeah.
Cool, guys. Have a great weekend.
All right. All right. Yeah. See you guys next week.